Hello all, I'm Jeff, the manager of the SmartDeploy support team, here with a video to walk you through using SmartDeploy's cloud services deployment ability to deploy your corporate image to a computer that may be off-site or at an employee's house. So before we get into it, let me walk you through my workstation here to kind of show you, frame up the scenario. I'm on my workstation at home and I have a virtual machine here that's ready to complete the Windows out-of-box experience. That's going to simulate someone who's had a new workstation shipped directly to their house, and they can't come into the office, but they need, their files and stuff to do. They need your corporate image. And so we'll pretend this is our new out-of-the-box laptop. And on the right, over VPN, I am connected to my SmartDeploy console host back at the office. And what we'll do is walk through the whole scenario of how to integrate SmartDeploy with your cloud services, upload the files that we need to our cloud storage, and then get the client installed on our new workstation, and then deploy our image. So there will be some points in this video with some loading bars and stuff, and I'm going to use video editing to speed that up so we don't spend a bunch of time watching progress bars grow and circles spin. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is authenticate my SmartDeploy console with my cloud services. So in the top right, I can click this cloud icon and choose which service I want to use. And this is where SmartDeploy will upload our image and other SmartDeploy objects, and the client will download them. So I'm going to use Google Drive. I'll click Google Drive, and it's going to ask me to use a browser to log in. And I'm actually already logged in to save us a little bit of time. I'll click OK, and I want to allow SmartDeploy to connect. And what it's going to do is create a folder called SmartDeploy. And in SmartDeploy, in the SmartDeploy folder, it creates these folders for us that have where this is where our images and our platform packs will go. So let's go back to the console, and I see the green check that indicates I am authenticated to Google Drive. I even see the Google Drive icon here on the right. I can click OK, and I am ready to begin. So we want this client to show up in the all computers workspace so that we can deploy our image. Now I've already captured my image. I have my Windows 10 x64 professional 1909 image that we're going to take as our corporate image. The first thing to do is in the activities workspace, we're going to go to the use cloud services section. So I want to upload a cloud package, and I will click this tile. And the upload cloud package wizard will appear. It's going to re-auth and make sure that we're connected, and off we go. So I'll click next. I do want to use Google Drive, and I'm going to select I'll snooze my updates there, pardon me. I'm going to select the image that I want to upload. And so again, this is the image that I previously captured, and this is my corporate image. I'm going to select it and click open, and we got it there. We'll click next. It's going to check if it's already in the cloud. It's not. These are some platform packs that I've already downloaded. I'm using VMware Workstation, but if let's say we had a T480 shipped to someone's house and we want to image that, I would of course want to make sure that I get the platform pack downloaded. And then with everything set here, I'll click next. These will be uploaded to cloud storage too. They already exist. I must have already uploaded, but I can say, just to be sure, I want to click yes, re-upload them because I want to make sure that I have the updated versions and to make sure the drivers are all set. And I'll click finish, and then it's going to upload to Google Drive. And I'm going to speed this up for us here real quick. And you'll notice it's going to split the image file and upload everything so it's ready for us, and we can go to the next step. Okay, so our upload completed successfully. I'll click OK, and then I'm going to go check out and see what this looks like. If I'm back in my Google Drive SmartDeploy folder, and I go to Images, we see our images is uploaded, and I think I have a lot of platform packs in here too from previous testing I've done, so we're ready for the next phase. So now that our image is up there, we want to create a cloud answer file, and this contains all the answers that the deploy wizard is going to need as far to where to find the image and all the extra stuff. And so we can apply the same stuff configuration that we would want to in any other a normal deployment if we wanted to add tasks or whatever, but for now we'll just leave it as standard and we'll go into the answer file. So we're going to use our cloud storage provider and click next. Google Drive is already selected. I'm going to click next. And now I'll select my cloud image. I'll click browse, and this is going to go and look in that SmartDeploy images folder for the image that we just uploaded. I'll click it and select, and we can see some information on the image that we've selected. And so when I click next, SmartDeploy is going to download a portion of it and validate our image and make sure it's okay. I'll click OK, and this will take just a few seconds, and I'll speed this up. All right, next we can select any application packs that we want to install on the endpoint. Maybe we forgot something, we know that something's not in the image that we want them to have. Like maybe we want to make sure that they have, maybe they need 7-zip. We'll click, let's just add 7-zip, and this, all these application packs will be applied post-deployment automatically by SmartDeploy. I'll click next. Now I can assign the name that I want this client to have, and maybe I'll say I want to give it a custom name, and we'll call it SDE, and then I want to just give it some random numbers so that it's unique, and maybe I'll just worry about resolving the computer name when they're able to get back into the office, because what's important now is that they're just able to work and do what they need to do from home. So I'll click next. I don't have any user data migration to migrate for this person. They'll be able to get online and get all the files that they need, so I won't worry about this for now. Click next. And because I didn't enter a product key when I captured my image, I have the opportunity to enter it now. So this is just a demo. I don't need to specify a key. You can leave it blank if you're just doing testing, but if you had a key, you would enter it here. I'll click next. Now, they're probably not going to be able to join the domain right away, but again, that's okay. We just want them to be able to log in and access the resources that they need. So I'll leave it in workgroup for now, and I'll click the appropriate time zone for where they are. We're in Seattle, so that's just fine. I'll click next. And of course, I do want to install the SmartDeploy client. Now, the console server name or IP address will be the name of the console host. And so what will happen is the deployment will complete and the client will be installed, and we'll see that computer back in computer management if we were to apply this in a different way. But so we would say this is my test VM here. Here's O2. Next, and then a summary. And we'll click the answer file next and click finish, and our answer file will need to be saved somewhere, and I'll just leave it as SmartDeploy, and we'll click save and finish. Now that we have our answer file created, we want to create the deployment package that we're going to send to the client. I'm going to click Create Cloud Media to do that. Then the Media Wizard will show up. And this is probably familiar if you've made USB media before. We'll click Next, and we're going to create a deployment package. And this is what will also upload this to the cloud. And let's see, we'll click Next. And the platform packs that when we select here, if they have drivers needed for while the computer is in the SmartDeploy boot environment, for instance, network drivers, SmartDeploy will see that those drivers are needed and inject them into that boot image. So when it restarts into SmartDeploy, it has network access, and SmartDeploy can see the local hard drive. These are all fine. I'll click Next. Now, the answer file, as I stated, this is where the deploy wizard is going to get all the information it needs to do the deployment. I'll click Browse and select the answer file that I just created. Click Open, and I'll click Next. And 64-bit SmartPE is just fine. I'll click Next, and I'm going to give this a name. So it's something easy to remember. I'll say this is my Win 10 image, and it's strictly for cloud deployment. So I'll call it Cloud, click Next. And I do want to upload this to the cloud so that it's accessible from our remote clients. I'll click Next. Confirming that we're going to use Google Drive. The green check mark indicates that we're connected and all good there. Click Next. And I'll click Finish. And this will create our deployment package and then upload it to the cloud for us. All right, our media has been created successfully, and our upload has been completed successfully. We'll click OK, and now we can go see our deployment package here with some information on the client version and when we created it, so we can at a glance see that this is uploaded and ready to go. So the next step from the admin side is we want to generate the client installer. Now this is what we'll need to get to our users who may be off-site. Now I'm going to leave my console name in here. Just the console server name is fine. I don't need to use an external facing name or IP. The SmartDeploy services that go through Azure will rely on this name, which is my actual host name, for the clients to find my host and connect through Azure. Now I'm going to pick a spot to save it. I'll just throw it on my desktop here and click OK. Now there are multiple ways you could probably get this installer, this MSI to your clients. If you have an external facing SharePoint would be a great idea. For simplicity, I've created an extra folder in my SmartDeploy directory in Google Drive for the client installation package, and I'll just upload my files from the desktop here, click Open, and upload it. And I can create a shareable link that I can send in an email or make available in any other way. If I click this and I say I want to get a shareable link, and now I have this link that I can send in an email. So now we're ready as far as preparing for our image to go to our clients. So let's switch over to the end user experience. So now we'll go to the left here to my VMware Workstation console, and let's pretend that I'm a user that's just unboxed my new Dell laptop, and I'm going to turn it on and complete the out-of-box experience. Now, you've probably seen this plenty of times, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. I'm going to speed this up for us. And what we would do now as the user is let's just get to a desktop and let's download the SmartDeploy client installation file so we can get our OEM workstation appearing in our computer management and so workspace, so we can push our image and get going. Okay, so I've got my workstation up to the desktop, and normally your OEM desktop may, it will have some HP branded or Dell branded stuff on here, but again, we're just gonna pretend that this is a laptop or whatever that I just pulled out of the box. So the next step for me as the user is I need to get this MSI that my admin made for me, so I can install it on the client so that I can appear in the SmartDeploy console and they can push the corporate image that I need. So I'll just paste. Oh, look at that, it worked just great. So I got the link from an email, or however you would want to spread this link is up to you, but using Google Drive and sharing is just fine. So I'm going to click download. It'll eventually start. There we go. And I'm going to save as. I'll just put it on the desktop. That's fine. It's easy to find. It's a pretty small download, and it should happen pretty quickly. Running security scan. I gotta wait for this to finish real quick. It's going to give me a warning, and what can I say? It's fine. That's interesting. This must be a security thing. But I will properties make sure unblock this. This may be something that you'd want to instruct your users to check for. I'm going to say no. Windows, this download is just fine. I want to install this, and it's going to be okay. And so this is a quick installation. Once I double click the MSI, can run through the wizard here. I'll accept the EULA, click next, and notice my host name is already set, so your users can just next install and approve the installation. And then what will happen now is the client is going to start, and the service is going to first try and see if it can find my console on the local network. And it'll try for about 5 minutes before it will realize, okay, I'm not on the local network, I can't find the host, and it'll then switch to trying to use the cloud services. Now this connection can take a little bit of time because it is going to access our services in Azure, which will then use the information that is a part of this MSI to locate and connect to our console, as the console is also checking in with Azure. I'm going to speed this up for the purpose of the video. I have seen users in certain instances has taken as much as 25 minutes, but we certainly don't need to wait that long in this video. All right, so here we have our desktop visible in our all computers workspace. The client took a while to again tried to use the local network, didn't work, and it reached out to Azure, which facilitated the connection to our console. We can see our client here with we can see it's Windows 10 Education. It would probably come with a different version if it were OEM, but we can see some information about the computer. In this case, it's a VMware. We can see our connection type is cloud, and we see other information. If we scroll to the right, all this stuff is blank because we didn't actually do a deployment. So now we're ready to push our image, and so we would probably want to communicate with our employee or user to say, hey, get ready, make sure that you're connected and the battery's plugged in, and we're gonna send the image. And so let's see what that looks like. We'll click the client and the actions pane will come up, and we want to deploy an image. Now we're going to use our Win 10 Cloud. It's giving us a network and mass storage driver warning. This doesn't really apply here. We're still okay to go ahead and push this deployment. Now I would recommend making sure that whoever is using this workstation ready to get a deployment isn't somewhere like a Starbucks or somewhere that's going to require some sort of authentication to use the internet. When we reboot into SmartDeploy, we want it to be able to just connect directly to the internet and download the files that it needs to do the deployment. So everything's all set. We're image locations in the cloud. I see the client version. We want to do this right away, so I'm going to click OK. And the console will create the message to give the SmartDeploy client instructions to do the deployment. And what we'll see is the next time the client does this periodic check into via the cloud, it's going to check in and basically say, hey, are there any messages for me? And it will have the deployment message, and it will use the information and the credentials that are securely stored in the deployment package to download the SmartDeploy boot image, boot back right into SmartDeploy, and image our workstation. And I'm going to speed this up and we'll see what this looks like. What's going to happen is we'll see our workstation will reboot automatically into SmartDeploy. It'll download the image that it needs and go through the SmartDeploy process as you've probably seen on the same as if it were being done locally via USB. So now our deployment is done. We can see on the left it's come up. It's going to ask us, the typical Windows stuff when it finds a new network. We can click yes. We don't mind being discoverable. You can see, of course, the image looks similar because I've been using, this is just a test image, but you could expect all of your corporate stuff to be on your image. On the right, we can see the blue arrow is still in the state of deploying, and we still see the same the name of the original system. And what will happen is, just like before, the client was automatically installed as part of deployment. And when it does this normal check-in, like before, it'll try and use the local network to find the console. And when it can't, it'll then turn to the Azure services to find it over via the cloud, and we'll see this name update to what we specified in the answer file, which is, we can take a peek at that too. If we go properties and say our name is SDE, and then there's the random string. And so just like that, we've successfully deployed our image to our end user offsite, and that's all there is to it. And once this is done, we of course, if something was forgotten, we would be able to also deploy any applications from the cloud as needed, and even deploy user state. So if you happen to have had your user's user migration file, you would be able to restore it, but probably not in this case. And of course, if you have any questions about this process or something's not working, please do feel free to reach out to us at support@smartdeploy.com, or we have our user support portal at support.smartdeploy.com, where we have our online user guide and more information on this. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching and good luck with your deployments.